Hey there, toy collector friends and Star Trek fans in particular, particularly Star Trek Discovery fans. Welcome back to the channel. I'm the time-traveling toy collector, and this is the Star Trek Discovery USS Voyager NCC 74656J, the latest iteration of the Intrepid-class Starship Voyager, first seen in its own TV series, in its first iteration I should say. This is several iterations into the future as we crash into the far-flung distant future in Discovery Season 3. So this is one of those models from the third season of Discovery, and I really like it. I will just say this isn't an XL edition. Normally I only collect the XL editions. This one isn't available in an XL, and I strongly doubt it will ever become available in an XL formation, which is why I went for the special edition. If it does come available as an XL, I may upgrade and sell on this special edition, or give it away as part of some sort of channel giveaway maybe in the future. But at the moment it's staying in my collection and I really like it. There's a lot to talk about on this model. There are some elements that I think people will be less impressed with. Equally, there are some elements that I'm more impressed with than some of its season 3 predecessors, particularly around the floating nacelles. Now, as a special edition size, it is marginally smaller than the XL range. That said, when I then have it against my XL Starship Enterprises, for example, it does scale rather well. So I kind of like it in this special edition size rather than an XL. And I do think an XL might be a little bit too big. I think this is quite a nice size. Obviously, I will pick it up momentarily, but I'm just going to zoom in a little now so you can get a nice close look at the bearing of this ship. Now immediately you can see those transparent clips on the rear of the ship, which are holding on to those detached and floating nacelles as part of the programmable matter of the future. Now these clips far superior in my opinion to the clips used on the Discovery A, because these actually are a single piece, and I'll show you once I pick it up. But you see it's a single piece that slides over the rear of the ship, and then the two clips are held in either side. The two clips rather hold the two nacelles in either side, and there's just something about the way that fits together. There you can see it as it's going round. There's just something there in the way they've thought that through and done it. I get that it's still not, you know, perfect. I don't know how they would do it perfectly other than just actually having the nacelles attached with translucent plastic, which is I think something that someone suggested in one of the comments in an earlier video. Might be a way of doing it. This looks like a close compromise because it's an attached piece which we slide over the rear section here, and then it positions everything perfectly to line it up within the proportion of the overall ship. I also am quite taken with how it's kept the general alignment and sort of the sort of flow and line of the Intrepid class as we know it from the Star Trek Voyager TV series. So that shape of the, I want to call it a saucer section, but I know it's not really a saucer, but that sort of that forward section of the ship where the bridge and the primary hull is contained has been retained, but also it veers more towards what we see in things like the Prometheus, the USS Prometheus, and so you can see a real development design there, if you know what I mean. And again, coming to this section, there's a really lovely spacing between the if you like, secondary hull and the primary hull of the ship, and we'll see that a little better when I hold it up. Yeah, all in all, this is a really lovely ship. The detailing on here, the lighting is quite stark, so it's pulling out some of that Aztecing perhaps slightly more than you would see just generally on display. There is some beautiful design work across these ridges. A routine criticism of some of the Hero Collector ships is that they don't always get the windows lined up very well. On this one, it's worked particularly well. Those lines, those areas where we think that there are lights in the windows, at least that's what it looks like to me. Nicely done. I think again perhaps that's one of the benefits of the special edition over an XL edition. On the XL edition it's bigger, so you can really see if something's not quite aligned in terms of the paintwork. On here it's a little bit less detailed in terms of that closer inspection. You can't really get that close into it to see, so I think that works in its favor. The rear of the saucer section is nicely depicted with some of that sort of somewhere between lime green and yellow lighting that comes out. You can again see it again running on the running lights around the front. You can see those phaser banks. You can see on the nacelles themselves, and again we'll pick them up shortly, a lot of surface detailing there, and when I get it in hand in a second I'll give you the view of the ventral section so you can see what lies beneath, as it were. But ultimately my first impressions of this ship, very positive. And again, I won't lie to you, initially I wasn't going to go for this. I wasn't going to add this to the collection, even though it's a Voyager, and Voyager is one of my favorite vessels in the Starfleet canon. This one didn't get an awful lot of screen time, if you like. It's kind of a cameo nod, at least so far, in Discovery, so I wasn't really sure if it warranted a place. Then at the Destination Star Trek in London convention, they had these models on display. They were part of the demonstration of what's coming, and seeing it in its sort of prototype model, I thought, well, maybe. And then I saw it in real life, and I thought, yeah, this is actually a really lovely ship. So I'll tell you what, without further ado, let's get this ship up and off here. Now this is a lovely attention to my personal gripes. It's very easy to load on and off the stand, so that's a winner for me. So now what I think people, I'll just move this out of the way for a second so that I've got some space to work with. I think what some people won't like is just how light this is. They are usually noted to be ABS plastic and die cast. I really am not feeling the die cast in this ship. So it is possible that there is none at all and it is just ABS plastic. It certainly feels like it's just ABS plastic. It certainly doesn't look any less in quality in terms of the detailing and so on and so forth, but it is very, very light. So again, where there is a lot of a lack of heft, please be mindful that if you were to pick this up, there is every probability that it would be very, very fragile, and so you do want to avoid engaging in a robust play. So let me just take it past the camera. There's the registration on the front, the NCC registration for the USS Voyager. As mentioned, it is the J. There's the bridge area. Something else that this evokes in me is when, for those who know, the USS Voyager of the Prime universe that we were mostly accustomed to before we leapt forwards, at one point did have Borg shielding, and this reminds, and Borg armor. This reminds me a little of that in terms of what it looks like. I'll come to the underneath in a second, but you can see that beautiful detailing there on the nacelle, on the secondary hull there. There go the plastic clips that imply invisibility. Let's go around the back of the ship, shall we? So again, you can get a nice line. There's some lovely silver detailing on that saucer section. I'll call it a saucer section. As I say, I'm very aware it's not a saucer section. Let's go down the line of the ship. There are the nacelles. You can see that detailing there. You've got the registration on both of those. Star Trek, the Starfleet insignia. As we get to the back of those, I'll turn it all the way so we can get the light on there. Not a huge amount going on in terms of the rear of the nacelles, but the underside very nicely detailed, some very nice light and dark grey working together, some very nice cutaway sections there as well. You can see my hand through those. Hello. So underneath, oh, somebody described it, I can't remember who it was, but it was on another, it might be, oh, I don't want to say the wrong one, that's awkward, but described it as a bottle opener Starship, because of this interesting arrangement at the back here. It's a bit like a bottle opener, and it really is. So yeah, this is, as you can see, where that single piece of plastic connects. Again, not a criticism, seems to work really well, certainly holds the nacelles in place. I can't complain about that. The front of the nacelles, again, nothing translucent in terms of plastic or paintwork. They're just kind of there. There is a hint of the old school blue warp engine in the nacelles on the side there. That's played out on both sides of the ship. So we turn our attention to the underside, and this is where we think we would have, you would usually have the deflector array, but if it is, it's all cunningly hidden away with the shielded body. That may or may not be the captain's yacht, you know, 21st century version. Again, some more of those nasty lime, yellow, green type bit of paintwork there, which I you know, I get that it's got to be there, but I don't like it. But it's part of the ship, so it comes with the territory. There's the registration on the underside. So all in all, lovely. Now, what I do like here is that what you've got here, and it's very hard to see it, is that you've got some translucent pegs between, that's in essence forms the neck section here, which to me implies that in the same way we've got these translucent clips here, that the two sections work in harmony and are together in the same way that the nacelles are, but they're not actually attached. And you do get a bit of a sense of that sort of strange disconnect when you're looking at the ship in display mode. So I appreciated that. I thought that was quite a nice touch. I really do like the detailing on the ship. It really does sort of suggest there's been a few hundred years since the first Voyager ship, Intrepid-class, and this Voyager Intrepid-class, the J. So yeah, all in all, very, very nice, very, very good looking ship. One of the lightest I think I've ever come across, if I'm going to be honest about it, and I shall be. The clips, I think, work much better in this variation. It's still not, I think, perfect, but to be honest, I'm not sure it ever could be. I don't know what perfect would look like. Very easy, he says, to clip it into its stand, and it does feel nice and secure. Let me just move it back into a position so it's not going to hit the sides as it rotates around. So yeah, all in all, I think this is a lovely, lovely addition to the Star Trek Starships collection that Hero Collector and Eagle Moss have produced. Really works well for me. I think the color scheme really pops. Again, I'm not a fan of the lime green stuff, but I don't that doesn't get in the way of me appreciating it's part of the design or aesthetic of the ship. I will also just quickly drop into shot the Star Trek Discovery Starship. I can't even talk now because I'm so excited about this ship. It's the Voyager magazine that we get. You can see on the illustration here that it's depicting that we have the things, the nacelles with no clips. Of course, in reality, we have to have the clips, but that's just life. What else can I show you from the magazine? There we go. You get the usual fantastic artwork in there, some background information in the text, lots of texty text about the ships. You get some really insightful cutaways into the design. You can see there that the saucer section and sort of the secondary hull are separate, as implied by those plastic pegs. So I think that does work. It does carry through nicely into the design of the ship. And as I say, lots of narrative on the design of the ship. I'm not going to broker too much opportunities to read that if you're interested in such things. then please do feel free to pick up the model with the magazine. It's an investment. So the question on everybody's lips, not least my own, is, does this ship have a slot on your shelf? Does it warrant a place in your collection? Well, ultimately only you know that, but I'm hoping that having had a chance to see it a bit more up close, a bit more personal, a bit less, you know, CGI renders, etc., you've had a chance to say, actually, yes, that's a fantastic addition to my collection, or, you know what, no thank you, I think that's going to be a pass. Either way, that's been useful to you, and I'm grateful for that. So please do hit the like button to let me know that you've been able to make your mind up, and that the video has been useful for you in that respect, or that you've just enjoyed having a little look at this potential entry into the range. Whilst you're having a smash away at the like button, also have a smash away at the subscription button, because that way you'll never miss a future video, especially if you turn on notifications to make sure that you are told every time a new video is uploaded. Plenty more things to come, whether it's Star Trek, whether it's Transformers or Battlestar Galactica or Doctor Who or Star Wars or Marvel, or, well, frankly, who knows. Anyway, thank you so much. You have been a fantastic audience. I've been the Time Travelling Toy Collector, and this has been the Star Trek Discovery USS Voyager NCC 74656J from the TV series Star Trek Discovery. You have been a fantastic audience, as I mentioned. It just remains for me to say thank you very much. Keep safe, keep watching. Never forget that a thing of beauty really is a toy forever, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care, and one to beam up.